Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We are from Team 10. We're gonna present our report. Our report title is Analysis of Unemployment Within Tourism Sector During COVID-19 Pandemic. This is list of our group member. First of all, my name is Anis Atika binti Saidin. My metric number is 264503. I'm gonna continue to introduction. The unemployment rate is the proportion of the workforce that is unemployed. It is a lagging indicator, which means that it rises and falls in response to shifting economic conditions instead of anticipating them. When the economy is in full well-being and job opportunities are scarce, the unemployment rate is likely to climb. Malaysia unemployment rate is quite low and consistent at around 3%, implying that the population is close to full employment. In 2014, the country experienced its lowest level of unemployment, with a rate of 2.85%. It has supported a very low unemployment rate and high growth rates year after year, thanks to years of political stability. Although this encouraged data, news reports indicate that the majority of job seekers and unemployed are young individuals, including graduates and non-graduates, who have had difficulty breaking into the labor market. Unemployment is a major issue that has a negative impact on the country's economic progress. Next is objective of our report. The first one is to study the effect of COVID-19 towards unemployment rate within tourism sector. Second one is to study the impact of government initiative on the unemployment rate within tourism sector. That's all for my part. I'm gonna pass to the next presenter. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Sherina Aida binti Saharudin. My metric number 265488. Okay, I will explain about the analysis of unemployment rate. Okay, this graph show the unemployment rate in Malaysia from 2015 until 2020. The highest unemployment rate in 2016 with 3.44%, while the lowest unemployment rate in 2015 with 3.1%. Okay, level of unemployment in 2015 with a rate of 3.1%, together with year of political stability, it has supported such a low unemployment rate and excellent growth rate year after year. Despite this positive statistic, news reports that the largest contributor was youth age group of 20 until 24 years, that is 42.1%. The number of job seekers and thus unemployed, the 3% are generally young people, both graduate and non-graduate, who have had trouble entering the job market. In 2016, and the unemployment rate was 3.44%, a 0.34 rise from 2015. Unemployment percent increased from to 104,100 in 2016. According to the report, the highest unemployment rate was recorded among the population age. The young unemployment rate was 11%, a 0.16% decline from 2015. Due to the global economy, many young people are struggling to find employment. The unemployment rate in 2017 was 3.41%, a 0.31% decline from 2016, following the expansion of job options in healthcare, professional service and business. The service sector continued to grow 6.1% in the first half of 2017, was mainly supported by strong domestic consumption activity. In 2018, the unemployment rate fell to 3.35%, a 0.06% reduction from the previous year. The number of unemployed people grew by 504,300 people over the previous year, a rise of 100 people. The labor force participate rate climbed by 2.0% to 6.3 million persons, up from 15 million in 2017. According to the report, a rise in the number of highly skilled and semi-skilled workers led to an increase in the number of employees in 2018. The unemployment rate 2019 dropped to 3.32%, a 0.03% reduction from the previous year. Labor force participants increased by almost 15.3 million people in 2018 to 15.6 million people in 2019. In 2020, the unemployment rate was 3.38% and 0.06% rise than previous year. This shows that the country economy is still in full employment with unemployment rate less than 4%. Job losses in Malaysia increased by 42% because of COVID pandemic, and male workers were 60% more likely to be laid off than female employees.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Naimah binti Ahmad Basri, metric number 262200. I would like to present about study the effect COVID-19 to tourism sector. The tourism sector industry has been affected by the COVID-19 pandemic, which has resulted in travel bans and declining demand for tourists. The tourism sector has been at a loss with the emergence of the coronavirus outbreak, which has resulted in many countries imposing travel bans in an effort to curb the spread of the virus. According to the United Nations World Tourism Organization, global forest tourism arrivals could fall 50% to 78% by 2020, resulting in a loss of international tourism receipt of $0.9 to 1.2 trillion. Transportation is expected to decline by 80 to 90% in many cities around the world. Many tourist destinations around the world, such as museums, theme parks, and sports stadiums, had to close because of the travel ban introduced. Domestic tourism activities is 100% paralyzed. All operations carried out with tourism are not feasible and cannot generate revenue and requirement. Millions of those involved in this sector, there is no search. According to MAH Chief Executive Officer CEO Yap Lip Seng, more than 7,000 workers and the industry as a whole with over 12,000 people have been laid off from the rest either on pay cuts or people on unpaid leave. Travel agency need operation and need a wave of layoffs in the tourism industry. According to Malaysian Hotel Association MAH, varies almost every year in the industry is difficult for each operation. According to the Daily News, 4 years is the time it takes for the tourism industry to recover from a pandemic that claimed many lives, even though vaccination programs have now been made worldwide. Based on Table 1, employers are required to enforce cost-cutting steps not to maximize income but to reduce losses, which ensure sustainability. Overall, labor costs in budget hotels account for around 25% of revenue, 32% in medium-sized hotels, and 29% in high-end hotels. This figure compensates for one-third of what is the hotel does not make during the MCO period. As a result, employees make difficult decisions such as imposing salary cuts and providing unpaid leave rather than lay off employees in order to save the job. According to MAH report, as of March 20, 2020, 9% of staff had received pay cuts, 70% of had applied unpaid leave, and 4% had been laid off, which is troubling as seen in Table 1. These numbers are gaining momentum now. Initially, the government recommended unemployed employees be compensated, followed by a wage incentive for employers. Net forecast of Malaysia unemployment rate from 2019 to 2024 in percent. According to revised baseline projection, the unemployment rate in 2020 will rise to 3.5%, equivalent to a 3.5% spike if the pandemic worsens, as seen in the figures. In addition to the real GDP, the baseline projection estimates that unemployment will return to the normal level in 2021, with the baseline projection of 3.2% in 2021 and 3.3% in 2023.
Hi, my name is Nur Alia Solihah binti Zaman. My matrix number is 273494. Today, I would like to present about the government initiative. As the pandemic COVID-19 has happened since 2019, that has affected a lot of people in our country. People starting to lose their job day by day because most of the employer cannot afford to pay their salaries to their workers. As the result, many employers had to minimize their number of workers so that they could reduce their expenses to avoid bankruptcies in their company. Indirectly, this pandemic has affected tourism sector in our country. So the purpose of the government initiative is to alleviate the burden faced by the local people. They have two initiatives, which is firstly Penjana, the National Economic Recovery Plan, and secondly Pemerkasa, the strategic program to empower the people and the economy. The first initiative that taken by the government is the Penjana. The main focus of Penjana are to empower people, propel businesses, and to stimulate the economy. The total of the cost approximately about Rm 35 billion in all 40 initiatives. For example, Penjana offer incentive for hiring the unemployed under 40 years old of age for about Rm 800 per month. Next is Pemerkasa. There are 5 focuses in this program, which is firstly, control the spread of COVID-19, secondly, implementing regional and community inclusion agendas, thirdly, driving economic recovery, fourth, strengthening national competitiveness, and lastly is driving economic recovery. The total cost of this Pemerkasa strategic plan is value Rm 20 billion. Consistently help and encourage the domestic tourism, the government has extended the exemption of tax in tourism and services tax for hotels accommodation until December 31, 2021. Besides, government also extended tax incentive to tour operators company, with the aims to reduce the burden and to support the recovery of tourism sectors. The government allowed to delay the payment for monthly tax in period from April 1 until December 31, 2021. Therefore, government also has allocated about Rm 700 million for companies involved in tourism to extend the wage subsidy program 3.0 for further 3 months.
My name is Wong Kiat Ping, matric number 261344. In the conclusion of this study, as the lowest unemployment rate within Malaysia was recorded 3.1% in 2015, the largest contribution to Malaysia GDP was recorded 42.1% by the young population within 2015, while the highest unemployment rate it further rise to 3.44% in 2016, since there was many young population undergoing unemployment. This caused by the mismatching of the employment criteria and also caused many graduates more preferring to start their career in other foreign countries to get their fulfillment. Furthermore, the unemployment rate experienced decline to 3.41% in 2017. The analysis states the growth of the economy was supported by the growth from the service sector, about 6.1%, within the professional service that contribute 54.5% of GDP within 2017. The tourism received will experience some decline since the tourism arrival decreased 0.81 million in 2017. Although the spread of the pandemic COVID-19, the unemployment rate was supported at 3.38% in 2020. It was recorded about 3.5 million was employed in the tourism sector that contribute 15.2% to the GDP. But a decline in the tourism arrivals came with the spread of COVID-19 that significantly declined the figure to 4.23 million only in 2020. That result huge loss on the tourism receipt of Malaysia. The service export was also felt with the downtrend of the tourism arrival. To conclude the impact of the pandemic COVID-19, it was firstly on the tourism sector, which caused the tourism receipt fell significantly throughout the year of 2020 due to the travel bans within the nation. Many places of the tourism were affected, and the transportation was also expect a big decline within 2020. There were huge number of workers had been laid off, pay cut, and received unpaid leave, stated by the Malaysia Hotel Association CEO. The recovery process within the tourism sector need 4 years given the vaccination program running throughout the nation. During the MCO period, all the hotel management make their hard decision and make sure the hotel survive within the period by cutting the cost through the salary cut and receive the unpaid leave. Government need to implement wage incentive to the employers to make sure all the employees will not lay off within MCO period. Unemployment rate within the tourism sector seems to be more serious within the period of COVID-19, but contribution from other sectors was also necessary to keep growth of the economy in Malaysia on the right track. Economic planning need to make sure all the necessary allocation of resource were on the right place, such as the Bencana and the Pemekasan program that introduced in 2020. That's all our presentation from our group. Thank you.